It's going live now, so hopefully we are there. I don't know. Boom. Let's check it. Let's check it. Zill. Yeah, Zill's popping, bro. It's like 50% up on the day, isn't it? Cool. Right, I think we're all... How's everything looking? Is my webcam bare bright? Looks a bit bright. I've got my other screen over there. Let's see. Let's get into it. Found good money glitch in STM, just testing it before TikTok about it. Oh, nice one, Crypto Noob. Love that, love that. Right, so we're live streaming now. Let's get it. So what we're going to do to start with is just do some basic chart analysis. We're going to talk about the indicators that I use on my charts. I'm also live on YouTube, by the way, guys, so if you want to get over there, you can see my screen. I hope that is better for everybody. That's the plan for this stream anyway. But I'm just doing a bit of TA. I've got a mad cold. I've got like blooming flu or something. I've got a nice Lemsip in here. Cheers. And yeah, hopefully this will clear it a bit. Nice Crypto Insight UK mug, by the way. Check it out. Oh, I'll try not to spit it everywhere, which I probably will do. But what we're going to do is talk about a few things. For the first 15 minutes, we're just going to talk about like candles, how you set up your charts like mine, what I look for in terms of like chart structure or structure if I'm going to place a trade, how I put my indicators on, what I look for in indicators, yeah, that sort of stuff. And then we're going to get on to talking about maybe some different correlations or inverse correlations in the market that I've spotted, or some things that I just try and keep my eye on in regards to like the DXY, the S&P, like gold, those sorts of things to give me a bit of an indicator as to what affects other things in the market. And yeah, then we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So we're just going to start with that now. What I'm going to do is just take all my indicators off. I'm just going to delete them, and then we're just going to set them all up together. So you guys can have a look at like where I get some of my thought processes from. And yeah, if you guys want to ask any questions, ask away. I have got my, like, I'm still working on my YouTube setup at the minute, so I've got my laptop down here. So if you see me looking to the left, that's me looking at the chat. There's no sound. Is there no sound? Can someone confirm that? Hang on. Yeah, there is sound. There's definitely sound, because I just opened it on there. Hi from Saudi. Hello. Good morning. Hope it's one for accurate TA. Have you got it sorted now, Jack? I don't know if you've got that. So yeah, I don't know. I'll try and get my. I'll try and get this pointing at. Is that better for you guys if I do that like that, or do you want to? There's no sound on YouTube. Are you sure? Because I can get it up. I don't know if you've got that. There's definitely sound on YouTube for me anyway. Can someone confirm if you can hear me or not? Yeah, sounds clear. GM guys. Right. So let's just get into it. As I said, it's basic TA. We're going to start with that. I'm going to take all my indicators off. We're just going to go through how to set up charts. And then that's it, really. And we're going to go from there. Take this volume off. We'll take this trend line off. Oh, God, it's hard to look at when it's like pure white like that. Because obviously I normally have my fib retracements on there. Hurts your eyes a little bit. So we'll just start with, we're on the daily time frame, so you can change your time frames in the top left hand corner here. By the way, I use TradingView, but also another good website is CoinTrader Pro. I can send you guys links to this if there's something you need. But TradingView is a great place to start. It's free. It's been an absolutely amazing tool. I still don't pay for it, but I don't know why. Maybe I probably should. I don't really know what extra features you get. You just get to put extra indicators on there, but I only use like 1 or 2 at a time. By the way, excuse my voice, guys. I'm like ill at the minute. I haven't got C19. I don't think. I keep taking lateral flows, and they keep coming up negative. So let's just get into this without further ado. So if you make yourself a TradingView account, it's free as I said. You can create yourself a watch list on the right here. To add or remove anything from this watch list, all you simply do is press the plus button here, search for whatever you're going to search for. let's just go for like Bitcoin, USDT here, look, and all you do then is click it, or you hit the plus button if you want to add it in, whatever you want to add in. But I've already got these, so we'll just go for like, just give you an example. I'm going to get rid of it straight away, but Euro FX to the dollar, so that's just comparing the euro price to the dollar. You click it there, and then it just adds it into the bottom, and you can remove it the same way. And what I normally do, so this is a little tip for you guys, so you can see what assets I'm holding at the time on a video. I normally flag an asset like that, so if you flag the asset, that's normally one that I'm holding personally, so I know to keep my eye on it. So you just right click it and hit the flag button. You can only use red flag unless you've if you're paying for TradingView, but I don't think you really need it. And I also just drag them up here. Don't judge me holding Doge at the minute. I do think that we may see a meme coin pump soon if we do start to get some retail eyes back in the market, so that's why I'm holding Doge. But let's start with some basic TA, which is what I promised you guys. We'll start on XRP because I removed all my indicators from there, and then we'll go to Bitcoin and show you some things that I've seen recently. So as you can see, guys, these lovely things here are called candles. So this is, let's zoom in on one. Let's have a look real close. We'll look at this candle specifically. Actually, we'll look at one. I want one with some wicks above and below. I will just use this section here. So this is the main body of the candle. The main body of the candle shows where the price, if it's a red candle, the price action opened at the top and closed at the bottom of the main body. The wicks are where the price action went in that day, but then obviously went the opposite direction. So the way that I'm going to describe this to you guys is, so we opened price action here, the top of the candle body, and we closed it here. But in that day, we came all the way down. So we opened the price action at 63 cents. In that day, we came all the way down here to 54.896 cents. But the actual action, the price action on the day closed here at 59.756. When you get a big candle wick to the bottom, it can be a sign that a bullish sign, because what it shows is that the bears pushed the price down in the day, and then the bulls pushed it back up, so the price finished on the day back at the price where the candle body closed. We then have the opposite for a green candle. The price action opens at the bottom and closes at the top of the body of the candle, and again the price tried to come up a bit higher than where the actual price action closed, up to 63.656 cents, and closed at the 62.965, somewhere around there. It's not very accurate. And again, you have a long candle wick to the bottom. This shows that there are a lot of buyers in and around this range. We didn't have a candle close in this section here. We didn't have a candle close within this section here for the whole time that the price action was down here, but we did wick into these areas. These oftentimes look like good areas to place a bid. 1 second, I think I've accidentally plugged my radiator in rather than my laptop charger, and I'm roasting on my left hand side, so let me just quickly change that. So yeah, if you're over on TikTok, come and join us on YouTube, guys. We've got the screen open here, hopefully a bit easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. And so whenever we get a lot of wicks to the bottom, it can signal a reversal in price, and we get a lot of wicks to the top, it just basically means that there's a lot of orders up there that are getting filled, so it pushes the price the opposite way, or can signal that. So that's very basic, just candlestick patterns there. There are some other patterns that I'll try and look for right now. Here's a good example. So let's look at this one, for example, here. This is Tweezer Bottoms. So this is where you get two candles, one red with a long candlestick, with a long wick coming out below, and one green. This is also called an engulfing candle. And these signal a reversal. If you get a Tweezer bottom like this, just often signal a reversal, especially if the following candle is an engulfing candle, meaning that the green candle is the body of the green candle starts at the bottom of the red candle and fully engulfs it, meaning that it opens at the same price and closes above. That's a nice engulfing candle there. And you see the same thing here, and they do signal oftentimes, or can signal, a reversal or a bottom in price action. What else do you want to look for? So you hear these terms called support and resistance often when we're doing technical analysis and we're trading charts. Support is essentially a level that the price action has reached in history and has reversed from that price action or used it as a support, quote unquote. And resistance is the opposite. It's a level that the price action has reached and not been able to break through and then has come back down. So as you can see here, this is why, so I often have this buy box drawn in here. Buy box just means that there's a lot of buying or selling action happening within this area of interest. And I often have this area here just highlighted for XRP specifically. Let me just move that box down a little bit. So what we've got here looks like an area of interest, guys, if you can see. So we wicked up into this area of interest, or this buy box, and then we've rejected it here. This is back in November of 2020, just before the SEC suit came in. We wicked up, couldn't break above the 78 cent, rejected it, came down, found support, so a level that we weren't going to go any lower than, which is where you can often find support from where previous bids were. And I'll show you that, or previous price action happened. So you've got all this here, previous like price, excuse me, all this previous price action here and here, providing some level of support for XRP back in the when we had the capitulation after the SEC suit came in. We then had the pump and dump group, which was in February the 1st, and price again pushed up into the same sort of region. This time it was 75 cent, and we couldn't break above that. We rejected it, so that's how you know this is quite a strong resistance level. We then came down to find some support again, which we found at the local swing high. So that's this section here and this section here. So that's the local swing high there. We came down, as you can see, we wicked into it, held those wicks there, and then we started to push off. Give me 1 second. I think the cat's that's going to scratch my door off. Come on then, kid. I'm halfway through a live, Toffee, so don't do that again, yeah? That's just my cat. So the local swing highs are good areas to look for areas of support or resistance. But we can get into that in a minute. So then what we saw was an ascending consolidation up towards this resistance level here. So you could say that this is a range, and via range it just means that it's trading almost sideways, not being able to break out higher or not really coming any lower than like what had happened within that period. So as you can see here, that didn't really come any higher than that and didn't really come any lower than this. So that's what's called a range. Once we broke out of this range here, which we'll put a nice accurate horizontal line in there. Once we broke out of that range, we did have a breakout. You can often find a breakout target if you're range bound by the actual length of the range, and that's just rough. So a breakout target for the breakout of this range would be this. Boom. So you'd look for that breakout target. It's not very accurately drawn. Let's do it so it's a bit more pretty. One thing I'm not very good at is drawing pretty charts because I just don't really care about the aesthetics of it. But look at that. It's a perfect breakout of that range. Which I hadn't planned this. I was just showing you literally what the price action does. Just take it down to exactly on the range. Boom. So if you'd taken a leverage trade there on the breakout of that range, you'd have hit your take profits really, really nice on that day. So we also had a continuation of this price action coming up here. We have had a long consolidation period for XRP, and it broke above this heavy resistance level here when we broke out of that range. Took profits there if you were going to take a leverage trade, but you've also got this heavy resistance that we've broken above. This is why I think that buy boxes like this are super important, because as you can see, it's reacted with this area so many times throughout the past. Every time that it breaks below, it like comes quite a bit of a drop down. Like if we break below this price box, we've got a 25% dip there. Even look at this wick. Let's have a look how far this wick came down. So it's acting as an area of support. That was 17%, and again, if we drop down here, it's like what, 20% low. And then when we broke above here, where did we push up to? We pushed up to 140%. We had a 140% increase. We broke through here. We had to the high. We had a 76% increase, and here we've just been consolidating within this area for a little while. So we are looking for another leg up. And also bear in mind with price action and chart structure, nothing's set in stone. Anything can change at any point. It just gives you more of an idea of what can happen in the future if you look into the past. So let's just check on the TikTok gang. How are we doing, TikTok gang? How are we all? Cool. Not too much going on there right now. Obviously, I'm mainly looking into YouTube. Have a look at my chat. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Just 4 p.m. Also, a lot better viewing on YouTube. Nice. Cool. So that's basically candles with some understanding support and resistance. I personally, and I talked about this before, feel like this pattern here looks very similar if you look at it to this pattern here. Just an ascending consolidation of candles before a breakout, hopefully. Did talk about this. I talked about it on my Twitter, if anyone follows me on Twitter. Now what we've had is that upwards run, we've had a bit of a rejection and then an upwards consolidation. And then when we broke that swing high, or that range that we talked about, when we break the swing high of the range, then we had a pop out of the zone. So could we see something similar happening now? Like this chart structure is very similar to this. I'm going to there's a little trick you can do here. It's called a bars pattern, or it's known as a fractal also. But you just find it here on the left hand side of your trading view. And basically what it does is just copies the candles and you can paste them wherever you want. So we had that like lower period here, we had that break up, we've come down, we consolidated sideways and upwards, and then when we break out that range, boom, off we go. That's what we're hopefully looking for now with XRP, and I have already shown this on Twitter, and it gives you a breakout target of 228. So that would be nice to see. But again, we're looking for the confirmation and breakout of that range. So we've got that range there, as you can see. We didn't break out of that for a little while, and as you can see now, we are testing that exact top. We wicked up to it, we couldn't break out, we've come back down, but we haven't capitulated, and we haven't even come down to test support at the 79 cent. We've sort of just held that upward consolidation, which is exactly what we were doing in here. Like we wicked up here, came down, and we're still within that range. Or we need to just keep holding this, get to that range, then you see some volume, which we're going to put on in a second, and hopefully break through. In fact, we'll put that on now. So the next sort of things that I have, and I don't use many indicators because I think you can see quite a lot from chart. I do like to draw on my charts just to give me a bit of an idea of where price action goes. But we'll add some indicators that I use, and I do the ones that I do like. So volume, I think is important. Volume is just basically the amount of bids and asks on that day. Like, so basically, it's the amount of buying and selling. This chart at the bottom here shows you the amount of like buying and selling that the asset has done on that day. This rings true to anything: stocks, shares, forex, crypto, whatever. These indicators ring through for everything. So for a breakout, what you want to see is increased volume when you get to a resistance area. It means that a lot of people that there's a lot going on there. A lot of people are buying, a lot of people are selling, and it means that if you do break out, you'll probably have more of a positive breakout and a higher chance of pushing out of that area. So we got up towards that breakout zone there, and volume did start to increase. Yesterday we had a decreased day in volume. We would be looking for the next few days if we start to retest this high here, and we'll zoom into it so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, we'll put a horizontal ray in there so we can see the price level that I'm talking about here. If we zoom into this level here, we haven't quite got up there. But when we do start to retest this zone, if Bitcoin doesn't decide to crap the bed in that time, then we want to be seeing some more volume coming in down here. So you see when we had a volume, big green volume day here, we broke through that resistance level. I've talked about this buy box. The volume came through and it really pushed us up out of that zone. And then we've sort of held that zone. We wicked below, but we actually held within that buy box. Now we're consolidating upwards towards the top of this range. If we get a good green day, hopefully when we come up towards this sort of zone here, what I've been doing is just putting a nice trend line in there. Boom, up there you can see we haven't got long left before we're either going to have to make a decision to come below this trend line, this ascending consolidation that we're doing, and maybe come down and retest this area here, 79.78 cent, what we've seen as a buy box from the past that I've showed you, or we are really going to have to test the top of this range, look for some volume and look to break out. That's what I'm really looking for. Are line charts ever useful in my TA? I don't personally use line charts myself. It just depends on your personal preference more than anything. I know that like longer term traders look at line charts just because it gives you an easier representation of what the price action is doing. But I personally use candles because I trade on a shorter time frame than that if I am going to take any sort of trade. So what other indicators do I use? I use moving averages if they're there, which they're not. EMAs, I use exponential moving averages. So sorry if I've skipped too faster. You hit the indicator button at the top here and add in EMA, which stands for an exponential moving average. And you get 2 of those in there. I'm going to drop 2 in. So we've got 2 that I've just dropped in right now, but because they're the same time period, they're both on top of each other, so it looks like there's 1. I use the 50 and the 200 day EMAs. So we're just going to go to the settings here and we're going to change the length of the first one to 50. And I'm also going to hit visibility. Where am I? I'm going to just try and make it a bit more thick, the line. Here we go. Yeah, so you just go on style. I'm going to leave the color as blue and I'm going to put the visibility a little bit thicker there. And we are going to press OK on that. So there's my first moving average in there. And the second one I normally put it as red. Which red do I normally use? Oh, this is gonna freak me out if I don't have the right colour. And again, make it a bit more thick and make this one, an input of 200 on the length. Remember guys, you can always just go back on my stream and find out what's going on, or replay it if you need to have another look. So if we also see here now, what this then shows is this 200 EMA is about the average price of this asset for the last 200 days, and this is the last 50 days. They often act as areas of resistance or support, and you might have heard of bullish and bearish crosses or death crosses and stuff like that. It gets thrown around quite a lot on Twitter. Basically, that's when so in a bull market, which means a positive market, the 50 EMA trends above the 200 EMA, and when we're in a bearish period or a bear market, the 50 EMA is below the 200 EMA. On the daily time frame is the best, or the weekly to look at it. The further zoomed out you are, so daily, weekly, monthly, the more of like a macro level view you get, obviously, because it can change quite a lot if you go to if it goes like 15 minutes, for example, we'll probably cross it over all the time. Look. 1, 2, 3 crosses, so it's less accurate in terms of the information that tells you. But what is quite cool here is we have managed to break above this 200, which we haven't done for a little while. Look, if we look back, the last time we did it was back on the 23rd of December. It was kind of a fake out though, because again we had an engulfing candle, but it was a red one. So we had a red engulfing candle here, and it took us back below. And oftentimes, if the moving averages are bearish, so I talked about, so your 50 is below the 200, you're trending downwards, that's a bear market. Not specifically a bear market, because I don't think we've been in a bear market. It's a bit different to stocks and shares, but traditionally that would indicate a bear market. And when you're trending above, the price action should be going upwards. So one of the things you need to learn if you want to start taking trades is, what I would do is give yourself like a little structured sheet of all the things that need to be happening before you look to take a trade. So first one is direction. Well, which direction is the chart going in? When the EMAs have crossed bearish like this, you're looking for a downwards trend, because that's the way the price action is going. So you're looking to take a short, and when they've crossed bullish, you should be looking for an upwards trend to take a long. Obviously, crypto's a bit more volatile, so things can change quite quickly because the market caps are also small. So, as we talked about before, we have just broken above this 200 EMA, and that's the first time. So there's a ruler icon here on the left. This ruler icon is really cool because it measures percentages. If you look at that, Wherever you open it, you can look, you can get your percentages there or there, but it also tells you time periods as well. So if we just look from when it last crossed that, we've actually been stuck inside that range for 96 days. And if we say this is just a fake out, we've actually been below the 200 EMA since here, which is all the way back in the 2nd of December. So we've been below the 200 EMA for 118 days, and we actually broke above it for the first time and held above it, which is important, on the 27th of March. So we were below it for 115 days. This was a downward or consolidation period during that time. We have come back and retested that 200. This is a second day with the Tweezer bottom that we've retested that. We'd hope to look for some volume and push it up towards the top of this range again. But as we talked about before, we could have another this until the 9th of April to get up there. But that's only 9 days away, guys, and we could then be retesting 91 cent and looking for that breakout target. And as we said before, I showed you from this range here to here. The breakout target is the difference between the top of the range and the bottom of the range. So if we have a look at the breakout target here, if we say the top of the range of these wicks here and the bottom of the range is here, we could even include this section here, depending on where you think this range is, but we could start the range there and have the bottom of the range there. So we just look at this for a breakout target. So we go from the top to the bottom of that wick there, bang, and we can then look at this for a breakout target here. If we manage to break above, we're looking at a 122 for a possible, or a bit less than that because it's not quite on the line. We're looking for a 121 429 breakout target if we do manage to get that break. Another positive thing that will probably happen by then is if we start to break out at that point, this 50-day will probably come above the 200. It will play out a little bit like this. If we start to come up higher and higher, this will come like this. This will come like this. And if we do get all the way to the 9th of April before we break out, we'll probably get, and then we start to break out. If it's a quick breakout like it was here, the moving averages obviously move quite quickly. We should see a breakout or a pattern happening like that if we do continue to move positive on the charts here. So now we've got, if you want to ask me any questions, guys, I will have a look. It's good for me on YouTube, cool. So now we've got moving averages, we've got volume, we've got areas of support and resistance. And the next thing I'm just going to add, which I've been using a bit more recently because I do quite like it, is the relative strength index, especially since it's been updated. This basically tells you the strength of the chart, the buying and selling pressure. Excuse me, gosh, buying and selling pressures of the chart. And this has now been updated, and they've included a simple moving average in there, which again is just like the average of where the strength's been for a certain amount of time. I think it's 14 days. Yeah, they've got included, but if you take this out to like a weekly or a monthly time period, it gives you a more accurate read of what's going on. And I found a really interesting pattern on Bitcoin, which I did talk about again on Twitter, and this is why I played some leverage trades the other week. I thought it doesn't. By the way, I just want to say one thing: like, nothing's gospel in trading. Like, they just give you an idea of what potentially could happen. But it's not like, oh, it happened once before, it happened twice before, it happened 3 times before, it's definitely going to happen again this time. It's just an indicator because it indicates that something could happen. It doesn't mean that it is going to. So in this scenario, yeah, we can't see. Sorry, bro. I'm on YouTube, so you can have a check on YouTube, bro, if you wanna have a look. But in this scenario, we had that bullish cross on the RSI back in the 5th of October 2020. This is on the weekly time frame, and when we had that bullish cross, we actually had a continuation to the very top of percentage increase of 516%. And then the second time we had, so then we came down, like we held this 50-week moving average of support. We did lose it, but then we had that green engulfing candle up there. Excuse me. Excuse me. Then we had that green engulfing candle here. It took us out from below. And when we had that RSI cross there, positive RSI cross, as you can see down here where my cursor is, if we go from just where it crossed the moving average, we then had a 104% increase. Or if we go from the bottom of the candle body, I'm going to sneeze again, guys, excuse me, I'm going to turn my mic off this time if I do. 117% increase from the bottom. And I pointed it out on Twitter. I took some leverage trades off the back of this information, as again, it's not gospel, so I wouldn't advocate anyone doing the same thing. I took them with like a low percentage multiplier, like a 4 or 5x, to make sure that I had space for volatility that you always get in the crypto market. So if we had 104, 117% increase from where we had that bullish cross, which is just the bottom of this candle body here, so we go for 104%. Because I'm personally looking for a 74,000 top Bitcoin. I know that a lot of people aren't, but it's just something that I've definitely got my eye on at the minute. But yeah, whether we still continue to break up towards those highs, I don't know. There's a lot of resistance above us right now, like as you can see here. Just get it on the daily. We've got a lot of price action to a lot of areas to clear. When the candles all bunch up like that, that's obviously an area of support or resistance. So these areas are where a lot of bids and have been filled or asks get put in. So we are. And again, sorry, I keep like going back and forwards in my head before I speak. We'll get into Fibonacci Retracements on a different video, which is just this like pattern you can see in the background, the colours. They're not really too complicated. Well, they are kind of complicated, but and they also act as areas of resistance and support that we talked about. So that's another way you can get those areas. And they also give you a good projection of where the top could be. So that's why I'm thinking a $74,000 top could be where we're looking for Bitcoin. So yeah, I think that's about it on TA for today. Have I added everything that I wanted to add? Yeah. And let's just have a look. Yeah, that's about it for TA. And then we're just going to get into some things that I've been seeing recently. So let's look at Bitcoin, for example, to start with. We'll just get on the hourly for Bitcoin. And what I've been noticing, at least, so Bitcoin looks to have lost the 50-day moving average on the hourly. Can we just take a wick here and then start to push back up? What is the volume saying? What's the RSI saying? The RSI is coming down, so this could be looking like a bit of a negative price movement. Where would you be looking for support levels? Well, you'd be looking at the previous swing low here or here as potential support levels, or if we don't cross any lower than this point here, we could double bottom with this candle wick here. But again, it's only on the hourly time frame. We're looking for volume if it is going to push down, and the RSI is indicating that it is a bit negative. We've had like a bearish cross on the RSI look, but they can reverse pretty quickly on the hourly time frame, so there's something to keep in mind. We've been consolidating for quite a while in this period for Bitcoin. This could be sort of similar to a bull flag sort of pattern if we put this on the 4 hourly. It's a bit messy though, so it's not that accurate, but I wouldn't like to include this wick. That would be more accurate if we could just go without the wick, but that price action happened, so it kind of invalidates it a little bit. And if you get a bull flag pattern like that, that's the breakout target you'd be looking for all the way up to there. That's at 48,000. But anyway, a lot of people are asking for a bit of a dump, bit of a cool off period for Bitcoin. As I said, Bitcoin has been ranging in this range from there to probably here. It's kind of a ascending range there, because we've had a higher low there and a higher low here, but we have had the same sort of high, so it's kind of an ascending triangle really more than a range, because as you can see, like that's going up like that, and this is just topped out like that. So we may come back down and test the top of this before we break out. That would be a bullish structure, because what it would show is that we've flipped this previous resistance into support and then we're pushing off. But that's going to be it for TA for today. Some people might not want to talk about TA, so let's have a look what people want to talk about. Just joined. How's XRP? XRP's up 0.77% today. We are looking at attacking that price area there, 91.73 cent or 91.82. Again, we're on the 4 hourly here. We want that RSI to come above this moving average. Last time it did, we moved from there all the way up there. Now if you see that there, bang, that's when we had the last bullish cross on the RSI. But some things I've been noticing then. Let's have a look at gold, for example. And bear in mind, guys, like I'm not great at TA. I just have learned what I've learned over the last probably like 2-3 years. I've been doing I've been learning about like charts and price action. I don't try and overcomplicate it. One thing that I don't know enough about and I want to learn more about, Elliott Waves. They're very interesting. I understand the basic premise of how they work with five waves up from 3 or an ABC correction followed by another 5-wave cycle with like waves within that and certain different rules that like wave 3 is the longest wave and wave 4 shouldn't come below wave 2, etc. But they're just things that I need to really I want to spend more time on. So if we look at gold, I'm going to compare it to Bitcoin USD. They've been moving kind of inversely, meaning that whenever gold's been going up recently, Bitcoin's kind of been coming down and the opposite way around. So this chart here at the bottom is Bitcoin. I've just overlaid the Bitcoin chart on top of the gold chart. So yeah, it's not really showing it very well there, but if you see here, gold's like been dropping. Gold started to drop at 11 o'clock last night, and Bitcoin's, or the 27th, sorry, and Bitcoin really started to pump. It's only the last few days I've really been noticing this. I don't know what it looks like on the daily. Great. Let's see if we can take that off. I don't know if this is going to help us or not. No, I don't think you can really see it. I don't know how to move this down. Can I move that? No, great. Thanks, charts. Right, so this is not really playing ball with me right now. But basically what I've noticed is when gold moves up in value, Bitcoin normally moves down. And the opposite way around. So what we're going to do is take this overlay off because the charts are struggling with it for some reason. Let's get rid of that. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. If I am, can someone let me know what I'm doing wrong there? Put my RSI back in. No, don't want the stock RSI. We want the relative strength index. Okay, cool. Alright then, charts. My chart's having an absolute beast right now. But what we'll do is we'll just look at the 4-hourly. As you can see here, so this is March the 22nd at 10 o'clock. We had that drop there for gold and then an engulfing candle. This could, remember what we were saying, this could signal a bottom. We had an engulfing candle, and also if you look back to history, it came down. If I go on the daily, this area here has been real support, but we have actually broken below that. So we actually could be, there's a potential we trend downwards here for gold. And I don't think a lot of people think that's going to happen, but I do think there's a potential we do that because we have broken the top of this range and we are back inside that range. Although we have held on the daily, the 50, so we have come back and tested that and found some support and pushed out. So we are holding above that at the minute. And I say that, and I'm talking the top of this range here, that we are holding above right now. But what was I just saying? Sorry, because I'm ill, I can't remember. Think we have 10 o'clock here. We took a dump in gold, and I wonder what we did. What date's that? 29th of March at 10 o'clock. What happened? 28th. 27th, 28th, 29th at 10, where are we here? Yeah, 29th, 10 o'clock, which is probably around here. Look, we started to take a big move upwards in Bitcoin. And then as gold retraced, which would be the next 4-hourly candle after that, Bitcoin came down, gold was going up. That's something that I've just been taking a bit of notice of recently. Just something to keep your eyes on. That's quite interesting on the XRP. Look, we have come down on the 4-hourly, three long wicks to the bottom to try and touch that 50 moving average. We haven't touched it yet, but it still shows us a lot of buying pressure below the price action right now. What else have I been looking at recently? Pardon me. This is the DXY, so this is a dollar strength. We have triple topped a 702 Fibonacci retracement, which is a real area, or often a real area of resistance for any price action. But as you can see, it is sort of starting a range between 99.43 and 97.40. So if we broke above or below this range, how far would the breakout target be looking at? We are looking at that point. So if we broke upwards out of this range, we would be breaking up towards that 101.49. If we broke downwards out of this range, we'd be looking down to 96.193. So as the DXY loses strength, it's oftentimes when crypto rallies. As you can see here, this is 2017 and this is 2020. When the dollar loses strength, it's oftentimes when Bitcoin rallies because people use Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. So when the dollar is losing strength, they need something else that finds strength for them. What am I looking at here? Sorry. 2017 there, boom. And that's the price action for Bitcoin. Up we come. And that's the opposite for what happened on the DXY, as I just showed you. But recently, another thing to take into consideration is that crypto has been moving in confluence with the SPY. So the S&P 500 has been moving bullish when crypto has been and bearish when it hasn't. So we're on the daily here, and you can see that the S&P bottomed out at $415 on the 14th of March. If we look at Bitcoin, for example, 14th of March was the day that we reversed, and we pushed up in that sort of time frame that we have in the S&P. Percentage-wise, let's have a look what we've done. I haven't actually compared these before. 25% move since the 14th of March, and what's the S&P done? Let's have a look. S&P has done a 45% move, so it's actually moved percentage-wise way more than Bitcoin. I didn't presume that. I would have presumed the opposite, but it is what it is. So that's about everything for this today. Then we can now look into some altcoins. Wow, Blocktopia seems to be absolutely popping off. Look at that. It's at 40%, and it wasn't at the start of the day anyway. So the last 4 hours, we've moved probably like a 40% move. Got Zaliqua 55% up on the day. That's a joke. It's madness. Sick. It's good to see. Could indicate the start of an alt season here. And then we've got VE Chain, which is 16.4% up. So, Pedro Sanchez, how we doing? Right, guys. Anyone got any questions? Now it's over to you. I'm going to interact with everyone a little bit more now. And we will get into, a bit more of an interactive stream. Let's have a see what anyone wants to learn about. I hope that helps everyone with just a bit of basic TA. I'm sorry that I'm so ill and I sound so nasal. Please get the rest of this lemon down me. Let's have a look at the minute I do have some open trades on. I've got Algorand on an open trade. I've got a leverage trade on Algorand. So, by the way, I only hold XRP at the minute, like crypto-wise. Actually, that's a lie. Bought a little bit of Doge the other day, but like probably like 0.75% of my portfolio is in Doge. 2% is in leverage trades, and 97.25 is in XRP. That's my portfolio structure right now. Green Metaverse is popping off. I don't know what Green Metaverse is, bro. Let's have a look. Is that a... So we've got Block popping off. The other Metaverse tokens like Mana, Sand, Meta Hero, Red Fox aren't really doing too much. Let's have a look what Green Metaverse is. I've never heard of Green Metaverse, to be honest. It's 20% up. Nice. Have a look at it. Yeah, it looks to be absolutely ripping. But again, not something I've heard of. There's a lot of talk about this FET, F-E-T. I see it a lot on Twitter. Don't know too much about it. Does anyone know anything about FET? What happens to BTT? That's BitTorrent token, isn't it? I don't know, bro. It was never something I ever traded. But let's have a look. It's on the daily. From the bottom, it's up like 25%. But I don't know too much about it, bro. So it's not really for me to be. No, that's not the right token, is it? Is BTT even a thing? So that's it. That's definitely it. Oh my gosh. It died by the looks of things. It must have. I don't know what happened at all, bro, but that's not looking nice. That wouldn't want to have been holding that right there. Wow, 99.99% capitulation. Jeez. No, I don't know anything about it, bro, so it's not... I can't really help you with that one. Yeah, but I've got a leverage trade on Algorand at the minute. I've got a leverage trade on XRP, and I've got a leverage trade on Ethereum. So I took Algorand because we broke back with that 50 for the first time in a long time, all the way since back here. We came back and we've wicked back to the 50 and tested that as support. We look to be creating some kind of bull flag pattern, and I hope that we break out up above towards the 103. I've got a stop loss in somewhere around here, just below the 50. So if we lose that as support, I will trigger my stop loss. We've also, as well as testing the 50-day support, we've also tested this local swing, that swing high here. So we came down, we wicked down, we pushed back up, couldn't get above this 89-cent level, and then we came down further. Then we broke out of that 89-cent level above the 50, came down, tested the 50, held the top of that recent swing high, and I would look for a continuation from there. Let's hope that that happens. I think I've got my, as I said, my take profit in at around 109 and my stop loss in just below probably this swing high and this 50-day. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it will be somewhere around there. My Ethereum trade I put on like the March the 14th, as with my XRP trade. The reasons for that was because of this Bitcoin chart that I tweeted out and that I showed you guys on Twitter. But the other thing that I took into consideration were the last two times this moved, or the last time actually that this moved. Let's get this RSI on here. I don't know if it's going to let me do it. Cool. It's saying I've got too many indicators on. I don't know why, because it normally lets me have those three. But anyway, the last times we had this move here, boom. So that was from July the 21st to the 12th of November. Let's have a look what Ethereum did percentage-wise. July the 21st. Cool, my PC's frozen. Always nice. July the 21st to the 12th of November we were looking for, weren't we? July the 21st is there. July the 21st to the 12th of November. There. So it did 180% and Bitcoin did like 112%, and then XRP, we look at the same thing. July the 21st to the 12th of November. November the 10th, 11th, 12th. There. XRP did 150%. So both Ethereum and Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP outperformed Bitcoin in those time periods. So I took that trade based on those things. Get a PCR done, dude. Yeah, I have. I had a PCR done. I do one every day, bro, at the minute. So yeah, that's basically why I've taken that trade. That's why I'm in on Algorand. I bought Doge just because more of like a speculation that we have a hype season. If we get the retail eyes back in the space, I hope that the meme coins pump on. I don't like holding the meme coins because they are literally memes. But when you start to get retail investors and especially new people, new eyes in the space, they see a lot of YouTube channels and YouTubers just push Dogecoin for some reason, and then they get in on Doge, and I will use them as exit liquidity if that happens. So I'm not looking to hold it long term. I'll probably ride it up to 30 to 40 cents, somewhere in and around that region. Start like dropping bags in there. I haven't got loads, so there's not really a lot to drop. So I might just wait for like 42 cent ish and drop it in there. So that's just my thought process on Doge. And other than that, guys, that's about everything that I've got today. If you enjoyed the stream, let me know. I'll post it all up on YouTube, so if anyone missed it, then you can go and check that out there. When's the alt bull run? It's kind of starting now, bro. I think personally, depends when Bitcoin gets a bit of a drop, then that's when we'll really know what the alts are doing. When you see Bitcoin start to drop slowly, do I really think Doge is going to 4.4? I think it's definitely possible if we start an alt season now, bro. When we start to get retail eyes back in the space, yeah, I think that's possible. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. And I will speak to you all at a later date. Peace up. Peace up. A-town down, as Usher would say. Thank you. Da-da-da.